Testosterone is really a major life force. Testosterone has a really big impact on a lot of things in your life, on most things in your life. Your mental health, your mood, how well you sleep, how you just feel like emotionally during the day, and obviously a ton of things physically, energy, strength, muscle mass, athleticism. It's a pretty major driver in everyday life and just pretty much everything that you do. Optimizing your testosterone is really optimizing your health and being able to live a lifestyle that really supports that to really make you be the best version of yourself. The unfortunate truth is that this life, this modern lifestyle that most of us live, the modern norms, what is just the typical lifestyle, completely annihilates the testosterone that we have. And I guarantee you right now, you are doing things that are significantly impacting you negatively. But you can absolutely fix this. You can absolutely turn this around. 5 things that I use to optimize myself, and I know for a fact you can absolutely, completely change your life by doing these things. I've always been young, so I'm not going to pretend like, oh, I couldn't even go to work and I couldn't even do all these things just because I'm young. So I've always been relatively, it's pretty hard to be unhealthy and have like low testosterone when you're a younger guy. But I absolutely did notice a big jump when I did change these things. I used to be sick way more often. I used to just not have the energy that I have now. Now I wake up really early in the morning, just absolutely ready for the day, mentally and physically, with the energy and just excited, like genuinely excited to take on the day. As well as supporting a great physique, I was able to really boost my physicality more than I ever had before. The first thing and the most significant, without a doubt, is the things that you put in your mouth. What do you eat day in and day out? What we call food now, and especially if you live in the US, we pretty much got it as bad as you can get it, is really embarrassing. Food is something that came from the planet that you eat, that nourishes your body, that allows you to exist, allows you to live, allows you to do all these things. The things that we buy in the grocery store, the things that make up 90% of the grocery store, are not food. Because not only do they not nourish you, but they don't even come from nature, or such a small percentage of it came from nature, and it was all modified and messed with and tampered with and processed. And so by the time you actually eat the thing that you bought, it's not anything close to food. Food is literally the fuel, like in a car. If you want a Lambo, you can't just fill it up with any gas. You got to fill it up with good gas. And what happens to be the good gas is literally just stuff that naturally occurs on the planet. You most likely eat normal foods, things that are just on the shelf in the store, very readily accessible, completely normal. Nobody would bat an eye of it in your cart. That's just what most people do. The food that you eat is most likely completely poisoning your body. Between all the refined industrial oils that we use, the dyes, how much plastic is in your food, the preservatives, the pesticides, so many factors go into it, and it really can seem very complicated. It can seem very overwhelming to eat healthy, to really eat so your body can use that fuel to optimize your bodily functions. It seems very complicated, and of course it does, because the generic advice that we get is horrible, and what's readily accessible is horrible. But the change is actually genuinely very, very simple. If you want to optimize your body, eat things that are naturally occurring on the planet in the form that they occur on the planet. Things that just come from Earth. And it sounds ridiculous to say this out loud. It honestly does sound ridiculous to say it out loud. That, oh yeah, to be healthy, you just eat fruit, vegetables, meat. It sounds super generic, but we don't eat that. It's so simple, but we just don't eat that. Or we get things, they're like, oh, I had protein, meat, and they got it from some restaurant. They got it from some place that has a billion other things in it. And that's not the same thing, because that's not the form that it would come from in nature. And the key to this is that you're going to have to predominantly, way more than not, buy your own food, like buy your groceries, not eating out as much. Because when you eat out, you're putting all your chances into the hands of the person that's making the food. And I've worked in the restaurant industry now, and I know for a fact that all they care about And it's a business. It's not personal. But what they care about is making the profit. Guess what's way cheaper than, buying grass-fed butter to cook your food in? Cheap oils and cheap ingredients in general are just in bulk so cheap, dirt cheap. You have to buy your food so you actually know what's going in your food, and you should make your food. And for some people, that might be a big change. That might be maybe startling that you have to do that. But once you get into the habit of it, you realize that it is very simple, and that with some proper planning, you can really easily eat very healthily. And one of the biggest things is that people genuinely don't know like what is natural, because they see something and they're like, oh, it's just this. They see like a sauce or something like that, and it's like, if it's ketchup, for example, they're like, oh, it's just tomatoes and I don't know, like vinegar. And they'd say, yeah, but okay, maybe, I don't find ketchup in nature, but it's all natural ingredients. If you look on the back, it's not just tomatoes, it's a whole bunch of stuff. That's the main principle of what happens most of the time, is that people say, oh, it's just this. It's natural. It's not natural. There's a ton of other stuff in it. So that's why buying things in whole forms, buying ground beef, buying chicken, buying pork, buying fruits, buying vegetables, it's just one thing, and then you make it something. So you must become your own modern hunter and gatherer. Take pride in going through the store, going through the grocery store, and picking some real good, nutritious food, which is always going to be just the things that came here on nature. Second thing is a good night of sleep. Sleep is literally when your body makes everything, when it recovers from everything. Everything is made. Your body is made in sleep when you're resting. I would say everybody needs at least a good 8 hours. And I know that's not what all science says. Some people say that some only need 6 to get the same optimal results. Some need more than that. I truly think that 8 hours is a great number to aim for, though, because the problem is that most people, when they go to sleep, they're like, okay, I'm going to go to bed at 10:30 and I'm going to wake up at 6:30. That's 8 hours. 8 hours night sleep. I'm going to be rested and recovered. But most of that is unfortunately not true, because you don't just lay down and sleep like Minecraft. I wish we could. It would save a lot of time. It'd be very easy. You just wake up. But that's just not how it works. It's just not how it works. To get a good night's sleep, you need to do a couple of things. First thing is to give yourself more than enough time than you want. If I want to get 8 hours of sleep, I at least give myself 9 hours. By the time I'm in bed, everything's off, and like I'm closing my eyes, I give myself 9 hours, because if I have to wake up in the middle of the night, maybe if I just don't sleep completely solid through the night, and just giving myself time to actually fall asleep, and I give myself time beforehand to actually wind down properly. Actually, a bigger reason, the second reason for bad sleep, because most people don't get that good of sleep, is how we stimulate our brains throughout the day. We scroll, we absolutely fry our brains. Completely unnatural stimulation. Our brains are not designed to handle anything even close to that. So we just stimulate our brains all day. We don't get outside, which is going to be the next thing. But our unnatural stimulation, what we do normally, how much crap we watch, how we treat our brains with our phone mostly, is going to keep you up at night. The blue light from these screens are going to disrupt your circadian rhythm. They're going to disrupt your melatonin production, which is what's actually going to allow you to sleep, and sleep with good quality. Sleep is simple. Do not worry about sleep. I wouldn't even track my sleep. I used to do it, but it just made me like focus on the numbers too much, and it made me not sleep very calmly. To get good sleep, ensure that you are not overstimulating your brain throughout the day, because it will keep you up. It's going to mess with your melatonin production. It's going to mess with your brain actually calming down, your brain actually winding down, and just giving yourself genuinely enough time, which is going to be more time than you think. Number 3 is getting outside. We're literally meant to be. We should really try to be outside far more than we actually are, mostly because of the sun. The sun goes down as the goat. We need sunlight in our eyes, especially early in the morning, close to when we wake up, to set our circadian rhythm, which, if you don't know, the circadian rhythm is just the clock like the internal clock that we have, that it tells our brain when to wake up, when to fall asleep. Making sure that's good is going to definitely affect your overall life and your sleep quality. Getting the right amount of vitamin D and getting the rays is going to absolutely optimize your testosterone, optimize your health. And getting outside, getting the proper light, especially in the morning, is going to optimize your sleep, which is also just additionally going to optimize your health. So I would make sure that within your morning routine, you give yourself time to get outside. That's one thing I do every single morning now, is that I get ready for the day, and then I go outside for at least 15 minutes, and I ground while I'm outside, putting my bare feet on the ground. I used to spend very, very little time outside. One thing that I also noticed when I used to be outside very little was how bad it was for my mood. The sunlight regulates your mood. It really does affect your life in so many ways. Number 4 is products. Now, it is lower on the list, but it still makes a significant difference. In the modern world, and the thing about the modern world is that these are, I would say, probably the most pushed. You know, all these products that you must have this to live a good life, to be happy. And many of these are extremely detrimental to us. Things like lotion, modern sunscreen, hair products, cologne, deodorant. These things have a significant impact on you, especially when it's stuff that's being rubbed onto your skin or put on your skin. Your skin's your biggest organ. It literally absorbs anything that you put on it. It actually reminds me of when I was a little kid, and I would always be like, I would go to the pool or the beach, and everybody's like, okay, time to put on your sunscreen. And you'd have to hold your breath because you can't even breathe it in because it's that toxic. Like, that's the stuff that we literally put on our skin, gets absorbed through our body, and actually can come out in your poop. You can look up the studies that show that the chemicals that are in sunscreen go through your entire body and go through your poop. And the fact that they're detected in your poop means that they went through your entire body, which is absolutely horrible for you. Ton of lotions, super scented, smells like crap in my opinion. Cologne is just straight up chemicals. I get it. I love cologne. I used to be a big cologne guy. Unfortunately, it is very bad for you and extremely bad for your testosterone, extremely bad for your hormones. I would try to find something that is, more naturally occurring. There are even some colognes that are not at all as toxic, but I would just try to find something, try to naturally smell good, whatever that looks like for you. And the switch for these is just switching to natural versions of products. I would look up chemical-free anything, because the reality is that those normal products, these modern products, are going to absolutely tank your health. And the last thing is exercise. If you want a great idea of what's good for your health, what's good for testosterone, just think about what is most natural. Naturally, we would be moving around a ton. Naturally, we would be lifting heavy things. We would be exercising a lot. So absolutely get into the gym. And lifting heavy specifically, like lifting weights, are going to give your brain signals that you're struggling, which those signals are very natural, and they help you actually regulate your body, your bodily functions, and boosting your testosterone. So moving around and lifting especially is going to have a really big impact. So I'd make sure you're getting in the gym at least 4 times a week, and challenging yourself in the gym, and make sure you're just like moving around outside. I don't really do like cardio in the gym. I just like to play sports, go outside, but definitely ensure that you are exercising. This is a really simple video, and I wanted to make it so because it's not easy, but it is not complicated to really change your health, really optimize your testosterone. Because I think we all know that we can see that the average guy is not the symbol of strength, health, and vitality. And I think it's something that's absolutely crucial to do in your life. I think you'll be the best version of yourself and live in a pretty incredible life by changing these things. If you guys are interested, I will leave a link in the description to a YouTube video describing my one-on-one coaching to work with you throughout the whole entire journey. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, go check it out. But besides that, have an absolutely blessed day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.